we've finally done it. We've got ourselves a motorhome. After years, decades of thinking about it, we've finally done it, and it's fantastic. But there's a few jobs I want to do on it first. I'm Barry. This is Carry On Motorhome. Now, the first thing that struck me as needing doing was there's no USB power points in the habitation area. There's this in the cab. We've got, well, I think a couple of 12-volt sockets. There's this one with a little pluggy in thing for USB, but I mean that doesn't count. And this one doesn't seem to have any power to it at the minute, so that's a job for another day. But yeah, so that's the only 12-volt power with a pluggy in USB. That's hardly satisfactory. So I'll put two in. There's one here above the door, double socket. Seems pretty good. Then another one in the kitchen area. Here we go. That's that one there. Another double socket there. I'll show you why I put that one there in a minute. So I thought above the door here will be a perfect place for one socket, which I've got here. Because then people in the Luton, when they're sleeping, can plug the phones in. Nice big shelf up here, or you can use the shelf anyway during the day and just plug it in here. That's nice and handy. But I need a 12-volt supply. So I took off this this control panel here, and behind there was just a complete mess of wires. I took these off too. These popped out as well. I had a good poke around with a new toy of mine. I'll show you what that is in a minute. Took this off, big mess of wires, but there was no junction boxes I could get to. And I'm pretty sure I can see a permanent 12-volt feed, but I don't want to be cutting into a wire if I can help it. I'd rather patch into other junction boxes. I tried to pop these lights out, but I can get the covers off and get the bulbs out, but the actual lights themselves, I cannot get them. I think they've got like little clips, and I cannot see what's behind them. If anyone knows how to get these out, I'd be interested. Yeah, so the hunt went on. So in the wardrobe here, this is the box here where the 240 comes in. However, we've also got this junction box here with 12 volt written on quite nicely. So let's have a look in there. So in here, I've just popped the top off. You can see that quite nicely. They've got Wago connectors. Now these two here are ones that I've added. These ones are already here. And as you can see, well, you probably can't see, these are 5-position Wago connectors. 4 positions were used, there was one left over, so brilliant. I can just patch into that if that's a 12-volt supply. And this is the back of the kitchen area USB that I put in, and I put it there purely because it was local to this. I thought I'll get this one in first. If all works, and I can worry about routing wires later. So here we go. I've got the Wago connectors, and I've got, there's the brown wires, got the live connector in there, and the blue wires just out of sight there, and I've got my neutral connector in there, and there's my multimeter set to 20 volts DC, and well, there's effectively no current there. So hopefully if I switch on the 12-volt supply, there we go, lights come on, and now we have brilliant 13 volts. So you know, happy that's a 12-volt supply there. However, it's going down a bit. However, it's minus 12 volts, but I've definitely got the red connector on the brown wires and the neutral connector on the blue wires, and it's negative. Well, that's strange. Let's try it the other way. I'll switch this off. So here we go. As you can see, I've got the neutral connection from my multimeter on the brown wires and the live connection from my multimeter on the blue wires. And when I look at it here, it's switched on, positive 12 volts. Well, I don't understand. I mean, is that normal? Am I misunderstanding something? It's a German van, it's a German import. I don't know if that makes any difference at all. Anyway, I'm going to trust my instruments, and I'm going to wire positive to the blue, and I'm going to wire negative to the brown. Yeah, what can go wrong? So here we go. Here's the one in the kitchen area. I left this little flap on. You don't need to have that on. I left that on just because the bench and it might get splashed. Two 2.1 amp sockets, You can switch it on and off, so there's no power going to that now. It's shut down. If there's something plugged in, it wouldn't do anything. There you go, it's got power to it. That's quite nice. And then I've got another matching one up here. There you go. Now then, fitting the one up here, nice and easy again. Drill a hole in here, pop it in, screw it in the back, plug the wires in, Bob's your uncle. The only thing is, it means running a wire from here somehow back to the wardrobe where that junction box was. As I said, I didn't want to cut into any wires here. So I'll show you how I did that. Yeah, so you can see behind here, there's quite a mess of wires, but I've gone through them, tidied them up. As you can see, a little zip tie there, just bundling things up, and put a label on what I think it is. So that's heating controls on there, and so believe it or not, this is tidier than what it was. Cool. And these plastic covers here, these just pop off, so just get something thin underneath there, pop them off. This one comes off as well, and that reveals just 4 screws, which you undo, and you can lift these whole things out. I'll do that now. There you go. You can see I've taken that blank off altogether now, and down there those wires disappear down the back of these cabinets. So I was thinking there'd be a clear run from there down the back of the cabinets into here, where I can drop it into this junction box again. That's the plan. So to help me out with this stuff, I got myself this, which is a Draper endoscope from Tool Station. It's absolutely brilliant. So there you go. Plug this little unit on, that's got the battery in it. And then this semi-rigid, here it misses, semi-rigid, I think it's 2 meters long, but it's got the little camera on the end. You can shove that down and then see it on your mobile phone, connects by Wi-Fi. And this also has, check this out, this is a little camera, and it has, look at that, a little light that you can wind up and turn on. Brilliant. So that's what I used, just to poke in here initially to have a look around and see what was going on. So let's give it a go. So here we go. I hope you can see that. That is the Wi-Fi of the endoscope coming up on my phone. There's me. Hello. Right, let's try this and see what we can see. There we go. So if I go in there and have a look. You can see that's the back of the USB socket that I've put in. And one in the other way. There. That's the cables disappearing down behind the cabinets. Now I did try to shove the endoscope down there, but it only went so far and it got too tight. So then I used something else, which I'll show you. So when I couldn't get all the way down with the endoscope, I went and got this, the fish tape. And fish tape is just a big reel of, well, metal, really, see that? So it's quite springy backwards and forwards, not springy side to side. It's the end of it, and so I've just put some electrician's tape all over this so it wouldn't snag on anything. Popped this down here and just kept on sort of easing it down behind the cabinets until eventually go back to the wardrobe. It came out in the wardrobe, came out here. This is where the fish tape came out. I had my wire, my cable rather. So I used some electrician's tape to fasten that to the end of the fish tape, pulled the whole lot back again, back out of here, Bob's your uncle. So then once I had the cable coming out of here, I could just get my hands in there and just fish it along behind. Drilled a big hole in here, popped it through, just enough space to get my hand in this hole here so I could get the nut on the back. Then pull that cable out, connect it all up, in you go, everything's switched on, and it works like an absolute charm. Right, and to see how good these USB points are, let's see what current we get from it. So it's just plugged in there, give it a second to register. There we go. So coming up, and that's a really good current there. So that's charging at 1.7 amps at the minute. So that's tip top. Both the sockets in there do the same, and I've tested the other one too. So that's good. Yep. So here you go. You can see I've got the two USB power sockets. The local one here is just using the wire that was shipped with it. The other one is using this wire, which I fished behind the cabinets. I put both of them into new Wago sockets, these smaller ones, but they're exactly the same functionality. And then each one of the new ones has a little bridging wire. I've got a bridging wire going across into the master Wago sockets, and that's it. That will just all pack away nice and neatly. That should just clip in. There's plenty of space in there. I was going to put a bigger unit in, but there's actually plenty of space in this one. Nice and neat. Job done. There we go. That's all done. So that's two double USB power sockets in the habitation area in the van. I would like to get a third one in the back of the van, but I only bought two, so that's a job for another time. The next job I did was to replace the 240 volt sockets, because they were all European, with UK ones, because as I said, it's a German import. So that's it. That's me done. If you've got any comments on the way I did it, I'd love to hear them. Anything I did wrong, anything I could have done better, any questions. If anyone's got an idea why the polarity seems to be reversed on the 12 volt, or if it's even important, do let me know, because that confuses me. But till next time, thanks guys.